other type of readers is what they're called methodical readers. So they're actually going to go through piece by piece and read the entire thing, and which is another thing where we assume the short, bite-sized articles are what everyone wants. In some cases, it's true. Like when you're reading on a bus or whatever, you have a short amount of time, and so like what Medium does is they'll do like how long an article will take to read, and so more people read. So that for the scanners, that's perfect. But what we're finding, and what I'm seeing more and more, not just in design, but just generally, the long form conversations people really cherish. And I think the podcasting world has seen, like, you know, especially like the most biggest podcast is like Murder Mystery, if I'm not correct. Like
Yeah.
the murder.
Yeah. I got into podcasts through the Murder Mystery serial. Like that was the first podcast. And then you just go down. There's so many good murder mystery podcasts. But yeah, anyways, derailing. But
or like you look at, say, Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
He will meet with all manner of type of people, like from all, and 2-3 hour conversations, and people are listening, because sometimes you have like these really complex subjects that you do it such a huge injustice by saying, here's the top 10 things of Blur, you know? And so long form and the methodical people who are really into the subject, and usually it's a small portion, but in terms of monetization and that sort of thing, usually that's the audience that you want. If you're selling content, or if you're in the game of being like a, what do you call it? An influencer. It's better to have like 1,000 buying customers than 1 million just viewers, right? So it's like having this target, and I think the methodical reader is kind of that sort of person where you're doing long form. So when designing content on your website, you really want to be thinking about these two type of use cases and these two type of users. Like the BuzzFeed thing is quite good. It's almost like if you're trying to get news out there and maybe do something viral. But then if you want to do something meaningful, that's very deep, in depth, then having the methodical. And I've seen some content creators, they do both. So on YouTube, you see this, like you do like the small clips and then the long interview. And it's almost two different audiences that it caters for. So yeah, I mean, what do you think about it?
I think, I mean, it's a really interesting topic for a lot of reasons, and you can go a lot of different ways. I think we're seeing a trend in social media to these scannability, the scanner audience. Gen Z, millennials tend not to read. That's why the story format's super popular. That's why on Instagram, you'll see these slideshows that are basically minimal text, high visuals. We use it on our own Insta handle. They're very popular because you can spend 2 minutes and have a general idea of a topic. The concern there is that sometimes, and I review these, like I think you're missing a lot of the meat that comes there. Like a lot of these topics have nuance, and there's exceptions to the rules, and there are edge cases. There's like things that need to be more thoughtful. So I agree. I think it's a balance. And if I like, you know, as someone that's like a amateur content creator, I think that long form is where you start. That's where you anchor, and then you can always chop it up and create clips. Again, those can be taken out of context, but if they're well produced and you give enough visual cues and you have like, you know, closed captioning, there's a lot of different other ways you can get about it. But